Alec Murdaugh, the trial, and the first full day of defense witnesses began with Murdaugh's son on the stand, speaking publicly for the first time about the murders of his mother and his brother. Our Dan Abrams, you know he is standing by for more, but first, Eva Pilgrim is there in South Carolina with the latest. Good morning, Eva.
Good morning, Robin. Buster Murdaugh was several hours away when he got the call from his dad that his mother and brother had been killed, rushing home to be with his family.
Buster Murdaugh breaking his silence.
It's nothing but the truth, so I hope you God.
For the first time, Alec Murdaugh's son speaking publicly about the murder of his mother and brother, taking the stand in his father's defense, sharing how close they all were.
I spoke to my mom every day, multiple times a day, and the like for my dad and for my brother too.
Alec looking on proudly, smiling at his son, who has been in court every day of this trial. Buster describing how his dad acted hours after the murder.
His demeanor was, he was destroyed. He was heartbroken. I walked in the door and saw him and gave him a hug and just broken down.
Could he speak?
Not really.
Was he crying?
Yes, sir.
Buster testifying his father called him at 9:10 p.m., minutes after the state says Maggie and Paul were killed.
What was his demeanor in the conversation?
Normal.
The defense also asking Buster to weigh in on disputed audio of his dad's interview with police about the death of Paul and whether he said, "I did him so bad," or "they did him so bad."
It was just so bad. They did it so bad.
What'd your dad say?
Said they did him so bad.
Was that the first time you'd heard him say they did him so bad?
No, sir.
The defense introducing this 3D reconstruction of the crime scene based on evidence state investigators collected. A forensic engineer testifying that Alec Murdaugh at 6'4" is too tall to have fired those shots.
Whoever shot this shot, or these shots, well, first of all, the quail pen shot was 5'2" to 5'4".
That is the most likely explanation, yes.
The expert using defense attorney Dick Harpootlian to show the jury how the shooter would have been holding the gun in his opinion. Harpootlian briefly appearing to point the weapon at the prosecution.
Tempting, but
The state challenging that expert's qualifications.
Do you have any formal training, formal expertise, formal education in how shotguns work, how shotgun projectiles work, and what they do after leaving the end of that barrel?
not formal training.
But the defense attempting to drive home their point to the jurors.
What, if any, opinion do you have as to whether that person could be Alec Murdaugh shooting into that quail pen?
It can't be.
And we are expecting to hear from other members of the Murdaugh family, all part of the defense's witness list. Guys.
All right, thank you so much, Eva. Let's bring in ABC News Chief Legal Analyst Dan Abrams. Dan, thank you for joining us this morning. And we saw, Murdaugh's surviving son take the stand on his behalf. How important was that?
When you see someone who looks like his dad, whose brother and mother have been killed, taking the stand in defense of his dad, that's helpful, right? Put aside anything he actually said substantively. Seeing him on the witness stand, knowing he's sitting there to defend his dad is powerful. Now, with regard to the specifics of what he said, he helped a bit. He's not going to be substantively a make or break witness here. He undermined a couple of the prosecution's points with regard to details. But I think the most important point is son is supporting dad who's sitting on trial for murder.
Why didn't the defense ask about that Murdaugh's voice being on the Snapchat tape that was taken at the kennel before the killing?
Right. So this is the prosecution's probably single most important piece of evidence. It puts Alex Murdaugh at the scene where he says he wasn't. Witness after witness came forward and said, yeah, that's his voice. That's his voice. They actually asked Buster about a different tape to say, what was your dad saying? And he said he interpreted it in the way that the defense thought that it should be interpreted. When it comes to this, they didn't ask him. Why? You have to believe either, he wasn't going to be helpful to the defense's case. Either he was going to say, yeah, sure, sounds like dad, or he was going to say, I don't know, so they didn't even ask him.
Yeah, and we saw in Eva's piece that the defense brought in their own forensic, I'll say expert, because the way they went after him. But he was talking about height.
Yeah, so he's talking about the trajectory of the way that the shot was fired. And you heard the cross-examination saying, well, how much expertise do you actually have in this? And he didn't seem to have had that much. But his point was saying Alex Murdaugh's 6'4". And based on the trajectory of the shot, it couldn't have been someone at that height. It had to be someone who was more like 5'2" to 5'4". Now, of course, the problem with that is it depends on exactly how you're shooting it and where you're shooting it from, et cetera. So I don't know that that was that powerful, but he was pretty definitive, as you heard there at the end, saying could not have been Alex Murdaugh.
And what do most observers think the case is right now?
Divided. I got to tell you, the number of people I talk to who say this is a terrible case, this is a stronger case than I expected, starts to make me think a hung jury is an awfully serious possibility here.
Wow. Okay, Dan, thanks very much.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.